Living in El Salvador has its quirks, from unpredictable time schedules to street dogs ruling the streets and fireworks at all hours of the night. But despite all the crazy, I absolutely love this country. In this video, I'm sharing the 12 things that drive me bonkers, but I still can't imagine living without them. Are you curious yet? Stick around and you'll see why El Salvador keeps winning my heart, even with its imperfections. Buenas tardes, mis amigos, y bendiciones para todos ustedes. Good afternoon, my friends, and blessings to you all. Bienvenido a mi canal if you're new here, and bienvenido de nuevo if we're already old friends. Number 1 is the mystery of time. Nothing starts on time, like ever. Ahí va a llegar means eventually. I'll get there eventually. We might be coming today, tomorrow, in the future sometime, next week, 2 weeks from Friday. I don't know. Sometime in the future. That's what it's going to mean. When I went to school for the parent-teachers meetings, they were supposed to start at 8 o'clock. I arrived at 8 o'clock. The meeting started around 8:30, and parents were still showing up between 9 and 10 o'clock. It's like, okay. I mean, I kind of got it because I had to go from meeting to meeting because of the fact I had 2 kids in the Basica, and I had to go to 2 meetings, so maybe they were coming from one teacher. Now they're in the second. I don't know. All I'm saying is that nobody ever starts on time. I would get to the meeting for 8 o'clock and I would be the only person there. Or if a shop opens at 8 and Chino tells you bring your car at 8 o'clock because that's when the shop opens, Chino may or may not show up till, 10 or never. Who knows? If we hadn't called him, he may have called in sick that day. Sometimes you'll never know if mañana means tomorrow, next week, never. You'll just never know. And I have been fortunate to have my housekeeper, my gardener, kind of come within about 30 minutes of the time they say. I think they're probably just delayed by a little bit of traffic. So my gardener says he's coming at 8 o'clock. He's usually there at 8:15-ish. And my housekeeper, she starts around 8 o'clock as well. It could be actually last week she was early. I was up early and I went outside to bring the water jugs out, and she was sitting out there waiting to come in for her time. At 8 o'clock, she was actually early. So there you go. I have a couple of reliable people in my life that do understand the value of arriving on time. So that's been my experience. Number 2, plastic bags inside plastic bags inside plastic bags. I know, it's crazy. Buy 1 pupusa, get 3 plastic bags. The environment is crying. Salvadorans have a way of making a plastic bag a plate, a cup, a bowl, or a container for condiments. If all your dishes were smashed in an earthquake and you had a box of plastic bags, you would be fine. 2 days ago, I picked up some green mango when we were coming out of Thermos del Rio. And it comes in a bag, and then inside the bag is another bag with maybe a teaspoon of salt in it, and then there's a knot in it, and then the hot sauce, and then another knot over top of that, and then that's inside the other bag. Now, I did it fancy because I didn't eat them until I got home, and I actually took the mango and put them in a bowl first, and then you just have to bite the corners of the bag of salt and sprinkle it on, bite into the bag of the sauce and put it all over it, and actually were very delicious. I really enjoyed them. I can't wait to have those again. But the one thing about the bags, it can lead to a lot of trash. And you see that along the streets here. Like I said, the environment is crying in jest, but there can be a lot of garbage here. And I know that the government's working on improving things, and garbage collection is on the list of those things. There's actually some signs. It says there is no plan B, but it says plan as in planet. There is no planet B, but the plan is bold because there is no plan B. There's one planet. That's all we have. There's no option. If you pollute it with garbage, well, we're going to have problems, right? I really love that the government's trying to clean up the country. Number 3, dogs rule the streets here. Street dogs casually run the block while your neighbor's chihuahua acts like a gang leader. Are dogs employed here? Why are they so confident? The other day I was driving back from visiting my friend Rosita, and a little puppy stopped traffic in both directions because he was trying to cross the road, but he wasn't sure. He was sitting on the road, and he got up, and finally the car that was in front of me that was coming the other way, the guy got out and starts coming towards the puppy, and then he walks off the road. But I see dogs and cats too all the time on the streets, but especially dogs. Unfortunately, the other day I did see about 3 dead animals on the street. I typically actually don't see that, but I was surprised on Sunday that I actually saw 3, 2 dogs and a cat. So it's not safe for them, and I'm glad that there are some animal shelters out there trying to rescue them. When we set up our business here, we had to make a list of all the businesses we could possibly run, and actually an animal shelter was on that list. So maybe one day when we have our business up and running, we'll put a little animal shelter on our property and bring as many there to look after, rescue, get some medical treatment, get them neutered or spayed, and then maybe get them adopted. I think that'd be really fun, especially if my kids could help me run that, because we are such animal lovers in this home. Number 4, the eternal summer with mosquitoes. Beautiful weather until you get eaten alive at 5:30 in the afternoon. When I first got here in August, things were fine. And we were in Zaragoza in another gated community, and at one time they were spraying for mosquitoes. So they do that here. They fog the whole place up. It's kind of crazy, actually. One time they were doing it here They were in our street at the end as I was pulling in, and I'm like, what's going on ahead? It's like all foggy at the end of the street. And then I, heard the noise of that vehicle, and my kids jumped out of the car and ran into the house quickly and shut the door. And I just stayed in the car with the windows up, and I waited for it to all clear. And plus I took a video of it, and it was like, wow, that is really thick stuff. If anyone has their windows open, which we do usually all the time, yeah, you would be in the house, be like, what is that smell? Awful. But again, when I first got here, it was fine because in Zaragoza they did that, and then when we moved here, I don't know when their schedule was here. I've only seen them do it once, but in October, I was like eaten alive. I ended up having to go to the hospital or like a clinic because I had such a bad reaction with the mosquito bites. And you probably saw that video. If not, here's the link to that video. But that was pretty intense. I never had such an allergic reaction to anything in my life. But once we get that sorted out, I never had a reaction like that again. I guess I got some immunity now to those mosquitoes. I think somebody said that in the comments. In a couple of weeks they'll be fine. And I'm like, why? Did the mosquitoes go away? He's like, no, but you get immune to them. I was like, I think that must have happened. Because I'm actually doing pretty good now. Random noises for no reason. Fireworks at 5 a.m.? Yeah, a couple Saturdays ago, fireworks at 5 a.m. I have no idea why. It wasn't a holiday. Maybe it was someone's birthday. I don't know. And if you're going to do any house construction, people start really early here, like by 7 in the morning. So our neighbors on both sides have been doing work to the houses, and we were hearing, bangs and pops and thuds. I actually thought somebody was on my roof at one time because I'm thinking, geez Louise, it sounds like he's right in my house making this noise. So you'll hear all kinds of noise, especially the fireworks though, because it's quite the party culture on, say, any holiday, like Christmas Eve when we were out, New Year's Eve, Semana de Santa, any other holidays where they're Independence Day, that kind of stuff. You'd expect fireworks, but then they're just randomly there, and it's not even dark. This is what I thought was really interesting. It's not even dark, but then I didn't know there was a difference either with fireworks, that you can have ones that just make a loud bang and have no lights, and then you have the ones that make the bang and the lights. So if you're just going to make a lot of bangs, I guess you don't need to be dark. So 5 a.m. it is. And the one thing about it is that in Canada, we would have like communities put on a fireworks display during a holiday or whatever, right? So our township would be putting on at a big ball field or something. You would all, drive up and park in the parking area, and you'd all watch fireworks. No. It's not like that here. I mean, they probably do that downtown San Salvador. Here, we just walk over to the next street over, or even in front of our house, and they're just cracking the fireworks off right here. There's no permits, there's no licensing. I don't even know if a child could actually just buy them in the store, because probably they can. And I guess the next day after a big fireworks show, kids will go around looking to see if there's any unexploded fireworks to see if they can light them and make another pop. I don't know how people still have their fingers here. You learn at a young age not to hold on after you light it. Key number 6. No address ever. Well, maybe. A little bit. Kind of like that. Now, where we live, we're in a gated community, so the community has a name. So when you want to tell someone your address for mail, that's a whole other story, but if you're just giving driving directions, you could say, I live in, Pasatiempo North or South or whatever your address, whatever community is called. And when you give that, then you can give like your polígono, which is the block of houses, or your street, and then your house number. So you can actually give someone a whole address. But then if you live in a rural place, the street itself may not even have a name. So is it like, go past the mango tree and turn left where the cow used to stand? Or the house with the orange gate, go past that about 1 kilometer and then turn left on this random road that has no name. It doesn't really look like a road. It's a bit of a dirt thing where you're going to need 4x4 to go on that road. So some of these places, especially very rural areas, there is just no address to give someone if you want to say, hey, send me a package or mail or whatever. I know Bill Kelly was talking about bringing Amazon here at one time. And I know there's mixed feelings like, oh, not Amazon. They're going to like take it over like they've done in the Western countries. The one advantage would be to that, other than, getting stuff rapidly and whatever you want basically online, would be that El Salvador government would be forced to give everyone addresses. So that would be good. I think that would be good. Then everyone could have regular postal service. And when we first came here and I had to get mail from YouTube when I got my channel monetized, I was terrified I would never get that mail. I actually have a video of it here if you want to watch that. I thought this mail is going into the Never Never Zone. But then I found out from San Salvador, Correas, where the mail goes, that there are depots in different communities, and there is one in Lourdes. We went to the depot in Lourdes after we were told the mail had already gone there. And when we arrived there, apparently, if we hadn't gone to pick it up, it would have been delivered to the house. And I actually have had mail from Canada for my pension delivered right at the house. Delivered may be a loose term. They threw it through the bars of the gate in the garage. So I'm like, what is this random envelope on the ground? And oh, it was addressed to me from Canada. Okay. It happens. But if you don't really have an address, you might be using the kilometer. I'm at kilometer 25.5 on this highway. And then I don't know what you do after that. If you don't have a house number, you may have to like give yourself a title. I remember in the Bahamas, they just gave them their houses title. This is the Paradise Inn, Cabana Hagenaars or whatever, right? Like you just give it a name. And that would be how you get your mail. Number 7, cash is king, but small bills. Go to a pupuseria with a $50 bill and the lady will look at you like you're asking her for a mortgage. Seriously, I've never seen anyone give out a $50 bill or a $100 bill here. Now, when we came from Canada, when we had our money exchanged, there were $100 bills, but I used a large sum of them to pay our shipping container company. So I didn't have to give it to like a little pupuseria or an ice cream shop or something. I used that money for those big purchases. I mean, you could use it at the grocery store or Walmart. I did that. But if you're going to do any street vendors, don't come with a 50 because they probably don't even have change for that. 20s, probably, definitely 10s, 5s. And we still have the $1 bill here, but it's not as popular as the $1 coin. I like to call that the loonie because in Canada we have $1 coins called loonies and they look like this. So I think that's pretty cool. They look like our Canadian loonie from the year 2000. So it's like, this is 25 years old. They've been around a long time and there are silver ones. So they're both the same size. Put them together. You can see they're the exact same size, but one's silver and one's that gold color like we have in Canada for our loonie. The silver ones are usually older though. I mean, the gold one's been here for 25 years and the silver one, that one says 1980 on it. So I don't know if they make these. I mean, after the year, say 2000, I don't know if they've made the silver ones anymore, but we still get both in circulation here. But definitely you want to come with some small bills like 5s. And this is a typical bill you'll find very, very discolored, a well-loved Lincoln bill here. Getting lots of love in El Salvador. But this is why I think they switched to coins because, you know, a lot of things only cost $1. And then you pass that bill around 1,000 times and, it starts to rip in the corners and look a little bit disheveled. So moving on to coins is definitely a lot easier and a lot less replacement bills, basically. Number 8, no hot water, but it's fine. The moment you step into the shower and realize there's only one knob, there is no hot and cold. There's one knob. It's going to give you all the water and it's only cold. You get a little bit terrified, right? Luxury is a warm shower, but who needs that when it's 35 degrees outside? Now, typically it's not 35. It's about 27 degrees here right now. And without the AC, with a couple of fans, it's fine. So when it's 27 degrees outside, you're running around the house, doing housework, cleaning up, doing this and that. You don't want a hot shower. You want a nice, cool, refreshing shower. And it's not cold water. Like in Canada, the water comes out ice cold. Who needs an ice cube when the water comes out that cold? And here it's more like when you go to jump in the pool, right? As soon as you get your head wet and your body has now adjusted to the temperature, you feel great. When I take a shower, first thing I do when I turn the water on, I stand right beside the shower spray, put my head down, get my hair wet. And then everything else sort of acclimatizes to that temperature. It's just about lukewarm. It's not really cold. And then again, like I said, when you're hot outside, you kind of want something refreshing, like jumping in a pool. It's about sort of that same temperature, I find. At least ours is. Now we have a cistern and it's on a tower in the back and it's a big black tank. And the big black tank absorbs a little heat from the sun. Not a lot. I would actually imagine that would be scalding, but it's not. It's just lukewarm. And when the and water's on, I find wherever that and water pipe is coming from, it gets warm as it travels to our house because it's never cold, that water. I was more concerned about washing the dishes when you don't have hot water to help cut through the grease. And when I use liquid detergent here, it's not very good. So we use the detergent paste. I did a little video on that, a little short on that. The detergent paste works great. It always makes suds no matter what the temperature is. And it cuts through the grease amazingly. People don't have dishwashers here for the most part, probably because, first of all, it's expensive. It uses electricity. Most of them actually want you to put hot water into the dishwasher first, then it heats it up the rest of the way. All those things are a bit of a luxury here. And to be honest, we can just wash the dishes in the sink. I know, crazy talk. Now, our new house does have hot water. It also has a tub. I mean, a hot bath is what I always would do in Canada. Every night. I never took a shower. I always took a hot bath. And I loved it. The hotter, the better. The redder my skin got, the better. But now I'm thinking a nice cool bath. like I have a mini pool in my house when I'm all hot and bothered from running around and doing stuff with the kids and, outside and whatever in the heat. I just want to jump into something cold. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to like the cool soak. I mean, I'm not good for the cold plunge. I know that's a thing here. People like to get into these ice baths. I'm not ready for that. But a nice cool bath. I'm looking forward to that. Number 9, car horns are a language here. 1 beep, move. 2 beeps, thanks. 3 beeps, I love you. It's not road rage, it's road communication. Whenever Stan and I drive together in the car, he's always interpreting the language of the other cars around. It's like a communication, it really is. When you're getting flashed with your high beams, it means somebody's trying to let you in somewhere, right? Or you flash your high beams and you're going to let somebody in somewhere. Usually the car horn means you're blocking the path. And the more horns you hear, you're really blocking the path. You put your arm out the window, it lets the person behind you know you're trying to cut in front of them. And I've actually done this quite a bit recently. And then as a Canadian, I like to give a little wave because I'm nice also. And, you know, they always say Salvadorians are really nice people, but get them behind the wheel of a car, ooh, all bets are off, right? It's, you know, maniac driving or monkey style driving, as Dan calls it. Now, if somebody sticks their arm out the window and gives you the middle finger, that means something else. And try to avoid them a little bit because they're really pissed off. Number 10, the Bureaucracy Olympics. When you go to open a bank account, bring your passport, bring your proof of address, a letter from your ancestors, a blessing from the president. You're going to need a lot of documentation, and you still wait 3 hours. Now, when we opened our bank account, we were there with the guy at the teller booth for at least an hour after he already waited in line for probably at least 30 minutes. It may have been more than an hour altogether because it just went on a long time because there was 2 of us opening bank accounts. And then we had to come back a few days later to put the banking app on my phone and get the password and everything. Now, my husband didn't come with us that time. He wasn't feeling good. So he still doesn't have the banking app on his phone. I never know how much money is in his account. I have to wait till we go to the bank machine and figure out what's left, right? I think when I opened it up, I also had to have a proof of my income, or at least I had to give them how much income I was expecting to have transferred in every month. And I think I had to say the source of it. And maybe there was a letter for the proof of the income for my pension or whatever. I know it took us 3 months before I could do a bank transfer. So when my channel got monetized at the end of November, I couldn't actually get money from YouTube. First of all, they say, until you reach $100, you don't get paid, right? Well, that happened actually quite quickly. And I was expecting a very large check, but I opened the bank account in January and I couldn't do the transfer until 3 months later. It wasn't until April that I was able to actually go to the bank and get all the wire transfer information, give it to YouTube, and finally I got paid by YouTube in the beginning of May, and then they regularly pay around the 20th to the 26th a month. So I got my regular paycheck now, we'll call it, in June from YouTube. So now that's all worked out, but it took months. Okay, so much bureaucracy. And I think if you're expecting over $5,000, you have to go in and get it pre-authorized every time. I don't know if that was, I think it's 5,000 is the number now. I wasn't getting paid quite that much from YouTube, but if you're interested in how much I do get paid by YouTube or want me to break that down for you guys, let me know and I'll do a video on that. But you know, it's nice that it's all worked out now, but the bureaucracy to get that bank account going was crazy. Not as crazy as when we went to get our temporary residency permits. That was above and beyond bureaucracy. Documents had to be time-stamped when they were translated. And you couldn't have this document come before this document in the time-stamp. Even though we brought the whole bundle to the immigration office at the same time, the documents had to be translated in a certain order and the timestamp had to be sequential. Like that's crazy. But you know what? It's improving. It'll get better over time. I only expect better for the future and less bureaucracy, maybe more online stuff. There's a class then actually when they went to get the car registered, I had to do part of it online and then print off something and bring it in. So they're already kind of moving in that direction. It'll take a little time. It's getting there. Number 11. Why is there always a lineup at an ATM, in the traffic, at the tortilla stand? Line up, baby. It's a national sport. I have almost never been to the mall when there hasn't been a lineup at the ATMs or the banks. And don't ever go or expect to get to an ATM or bank on the 15th or the 30th of the month because that's payday in El Salvador. And the lineups will be out the door and you'll be waiting 2 or 3 hours in the line to get into the bank, to sit in the chairs, to line up again with a number to be called. It really is a thing. When we went to Chivo Pets and we went to the clinic, they use the chairs as the queue order. So when you come in, they tell you where to sit. And then when somebody gets called up, everyone plays musical chairs and they shift over one chair so that the person that's always up next is always in that one chair. So you keep moving around. That's your lineup. Like they're just lineups for everything. Lineups at the bus, lineups here, lineups there. And with the traffic, well, I do think driving the roads and highways in El Salvador could be a national sport called dodge the pothole or missing manhole cover. If you didn't see that video from last week, you gotta watch that one. Or see how fast we could take the tumalo before we go airborne or wreck the car, one or the other. Or, this is my personal favorite. How many cars can you get to merge into a 1 or 2 lane road? Now, my personal best has been 5. We've had 5 cars coming through to merge into a 1 lane road to cross over an intersection. That was pretty fantastic. It took time because, you know, we all move very slowly and there was a lot of arms at the windows. There may have been some with middle fingers, I'm not sure. There was a lot of beeping horns. But we did it. We managed to do it. I think we should get like some Guinness Book of Records or some award or something. I'll wait for that in the mail. And now we've come to number 12. And that is the most annoying thing about living in El Salvador. It's my biggest pet peeve. It is the Pièce de résistance, and we noticed it the moment we arrived. Are you curious what that is? Dirty feet. One of the things that drives me crazy in El Salvador is the fact that you cannot walk on any floor without shoes on because your feet and socks will go black. And I mean black. When we first got to our Airbnb, we're from Canada. We take our shoes off at the door because I don't want people tracking muddy, salty boots through my house. I mean, that's happened. I had hardwood floors and I had service people come. They didn't take their shoes off and it was wintertime. They had snowy, slushy salt mess all over my floors and I'm going behind them with a mop. In Canada, you typically take your shoes off at the door because we get winter. You don't walk around winter boots in the house. Anyway, here they don't do that. It's never winter, as you can see. It's always hot and sunny. People wear sandals often, maybe some running shoes here and there, but people just walk in, out with the same footwear on. You go to bed, you take your shoes off. I wear slippers in the house, so I take my shoes off at the door, put my slippers on. My kids are still in the habit of just taking their shoes off and walking barefoot or if they had socks on. So the first thing we noticed when we got to Zaragoza in our Airbnb was that, after the day of walking around the house, our feet were black. And I don't even know where the dirt comes from. The floor doesn't look dirty. It is dirty. I just don't know where the dirt is hiding. I don't even know how to clean the floor. There was so much dirt. I'm like, I don't see it. I swept, I mop, I did everything I could. This is why I really wanted to bring my robot vacuum that the Avianca Airlines stole out of my luggage, never reimbursed me, never apologized, and never could find it after they took it out of my bag. And they took it out of my bag because there's a card that says they took it out of my bag. When you tell me you took something, I'm expecting you're still going to have it. Avianca, I think, is known for stealing people's items out of their luggage because anything that they say is contraband, even though the battery that was in the robot vacuum did meet the approval rating for batteries allowed, but maybe it was supposed to be in the carry-on. I'm not sure, but I know that it was not over the size limit for the battery, for the amperage or whatever it was. We looked that up. But anyway, there's no apologies, no nothing. They just take stuff out. If you leave money or jewelry in your bag, that's also considered contraband. They could take the money and jewelry out of your bag. So be very careful using airlines like Avianca who just steal stuff willy-nilly. Probably their employee has this robot vacuum at their house and then they're really disappointed because it doesn't work without the base. You didn't steal all of it. You only stole the robot vacuum. So now you're stuck with a robot vacuum that is no good to you, Avianca airline employee. You know who you are. Anyway, moving on. I got my husband to get me another one of these robot vacuums, same brand, secondhand off Facebook Marketplace in Canada. And I was so grateful that our friend Jeff, who's visiting, actually brought me a whole suitcase of goodies and my husband had put the robot in the suitcase. So fired up. It has a mopping feature. So it sweeps and mops at the same time. And you only have to use water, but I put a little vinegar in it because the water here, just like in Canada or well water, it has a lot of calcium and minerals in it, and it can clog up the tubes like a coffee maker or whatever. You got to decalcify it. I just put a little vinegar in the water. So as it's running, it's already decalcifying itself. And I've already run it every day that I've had it here. I'm so excited. Now, hopefully we can keep the floors clean and keep our feet clean. But I still wear slippers here because I don't want it to negatively affect my OnlyFeet account. Anyway, these are the things that drive me nuts about living in El Salvador. They are all manageable, and Bukele continues to try to help improve the country, and they will improve over time, except for my dirty feet. The only way to change that would be make sure everyone takes their shoes off at the door, or get a robot vacuum that airlines don't steal. All jokes aside, I love this country. These things just make El Salvador interesting, right? If you've ever lived here or you're still living here now, tell me what drives you crazy about El Salvador in the comments below. And if you love El Salvador like I do, hit the like and subscribe button for more spicy truth. And don't forget, we have a call every Monday night if you're interested in being part of our little Ask Me Anything community. And we have a WhatsApp group that we chat in as well. The details for the meeting are in the description below. It's every Monday night, 7 p.m. El Salvador time. And I also have a membership if you're interested in helping support the channel. I got 2 levels, very low fees, and we appreciate any help that we can get. Love you guys. Thank you for watching our channel, and see you in the next one.
Don't forget to hit the like button.